So again, what we saw there is we saw sort of an example of what happens when a material eventually gets so much energy inside of it that it reaches its energy capacity and it explodes. So that bridge was simply following this pattern. It was elastic for a while. You saw it swaying back and forth. You saw the cables holding it, sort of jostling up and down, and they were simply within the elastic region. Eventually, it started going over this yield point and going into plastic deformation, and then eventually it just collapsed by necking down and fracturing, and all that energy was released. I'm sure there was a giant explosion sound when all that energy that was put in there by the wind came across. Now, having a material break, sometimes it's not by accident. Sometimes you really do want a material to break, and that's the case of this jackhammer. The way that a jackhammer works is its job is to break up and destroy concrete or rock or anything else, mostly ceramic, cinder block, bricks, and the like. And they're going to take a metal hammer and they're going to jump it up and down, sort of like pounding on this cement. With a literal hammer or a little sledgehammer, that's a lot of human work. So we're going to use this air-powered jackhammer right here to move a very strong piece of steel up and down and break apart the material. So sometimes we use stress and strain and fracture, and that's the goal rather than to be avoided. So we're going to take a look real quick at some of these videos I found on YouTube. I'm not sure why, but all these YouTubes, especially the YouTubes where I guess it's a male profession, a lot of them like to use a lot of hard rock, and a lot of it sort of looks like a Transformers movie or a Michael Bay movie. So we'll see what's happening here.
The Bosch 11304K Brute Breaker Hammer Kit is the powerful portable way to break up concrete. This breaker hammer operates on 115-volt AC/DC power from a 15-amp outlet or a 2,500-watt portable generator. Just plug it in and use it virtually anywhere without a compressor for total portability. It is a two-way tool holder that accepts Bosch 1 1/8-inch hex internal locking combo steel or standard 1 1/8-inch hex air tool steel, and it delivers a hammering output of 1,340 beats per minute. Enough power to break up concrete and other debris with ease. The handle span is 23.5 inches, and the unit has a length of 29 3/4 inches with a weight of 64 pounds for portable, hard-hitting power. It operates using a thumb switch on the shock-mounted handles, which absorb vibration to reduce operator fatigue. It also has a grease-packed gearbox and hammer mechanism to eliminate the hassle of job site lubrication, and a service minder brush system that shuts off the unit when brush replacement, lubrication, or preventative maintenance is needed. The Breaker Hammer Kit includes an all-steel frame cart with handle for easy portability, plus 2 narrow and 2 Moyle Point 1 1/8-inch hex collar insert chisel tools. When you need to break up concrete, the Bosch 11304K Brute Breaker Hammer Kit is the powerful, portable way to do the job.
So I'm not sure after watching this video why I want to go view a monster truck rally. Almost all these commercials have that particular voice where Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. We've filled up the entire stadium with 400 million tons of dirt. I'm not sure where that came from, but again, for some reason they think that you need to sound like a transformer. These things go. I accidentally mentioned, or I mistakenly mentioned, that there was a compressor involved. I was corrected by the commercial. This was a compressor-free jackhammer. It was electric. You just plugged it in, sort of like an electric hedge trimmer. We also would like to shear metals, sometimes on purpose. So in this case, this particular arm over here on the end of this very large tractor is it sort of looks, as you look at this, it looks like a dinosaur. It's actually a giant mechanical machine that's used to pick up, crush, and cut sort of scrap metal at the scrap metal yard. So we'll see what this guy does. Okay, enough of that. So again, the idea was that the reason we show that is we're talking about shearing and cutting, but you don't have to just shear and cut hair or material or cloth. You can also shear and cut metal on purpose. It's exactly the same process. It follows exactly the same vocabulary and exactly the same physics. You just need a heck of a lot of stress, a heck of a powerful machine. Same thing with drilling. Drilling, we want to cut or carve different shapes or holes out of a solid material, and it seems to be that a lot of the things that we build, we start with a solid object and then we whittle away or we cut away, sort of like sculpting the material we're talking about. And of course, this is called subtractive manufacturing, where you subtract material from what you start with. The reason I brought this one up is because this is a particular little invention. It's a special type of drill that actually drills square holes. It's kind of odd to think that you can drill square holes. Usually think of holes being round because the drill bit is round, but it's kind of cool. Let's see what this looks like. It's hard to see at this resolution, but we're going to get a close-up view and then a slow-motion view. So it looks like it started out with round holes to get most of the material out, and then this machine is going to come along and cut with this very special bit. We're going to see a slow motion here for a little bit in a second. There it goes. This special bit, which is kind of cool. It goes straight on the outside and then sort of flies out and gets to the corner and then comes back again. So a heck of a lot of, patented goofiness going on up here on this bit holder, and they sort of obscured the value from here. But they actually can get, they can drill, or at least they can finish after drilling round holes. They can come along and finish this with square holes, which is kind of cool. So this idea of negative manufacturing, where you start with a material and then you whittle away the stuff that you don't want. Of course, it's completely based on stress and strain of the material. And we talked about necking down, we talked about bulging, we talked about shearing, we talked about torsional shear, we talked about flexure. All of these things are based on that, especially the shear, where we're cutting or moving stuff away. And what happens is a lot of these things are done both on a manual, but more increasingly on a computerized lathe called a CNC milling machine. And of course, that CNC stands for computer numerical control. What happened was, in the past, what they would do is you would dial in how close you want the tool to be to the spinning object, and you would go ahead and do that numerically. So you would have numerical control of where the very strong tip needs to be. And of course, as soon as the computers got small enough and affordable enough, we gave that over to the computers, so that the computers could numerically control where the device is. So now we just call it CNC, or a CNC machine. So here's a video of CNCing a piece of appears to be aluminum or some sort of stainless steel. From this point, this is either a latch or some kind of connector. For all I know, it happens to be a pawn inside a chess game. It sort of looks like a chess piece when it's done. We'll take a look at this.
You are looking at the Centurn 2-axis flatbed CNC lathe. The Centurn comes standard with full sheet metal enclosure, full sliding door, coolant, work light, auto lube, and is equipped with a Centroid T400 control. The Centroid conversational T400 control makes quick work of everyday operations such as facing, OD and ID cutting, threading, taper turning, contours and radiuses. Simply put, manual lathes just can't compete. With the 6-position automatic turret, the Centroid quickly moves on to a parting tour. If your manual engine lathe has you so frustrated you're thinking of joining anger management classes, then take a look at this Centurn CNC lathe. Quickly cut this part to size. The Centurn 16x40 CNC lathe comes equipped with a 2 1/8" spindle hole, an impressive 7.5 horsepower spindle motor, and a broad range of spindle speeds from 25 to 3,000 RPM. The Centurn CNC lathe comes with many standard features that you'd expect to pay extra for from other builders, such as a 3-speed geared headstock, constant surface speed, a full coolant system, and work light. So whether you're threading, cutting contours, tapers, or any shape, call Industrial Machinery to see how the Centurn lathe will fit into your shop.
So again, pretty cool. I like to watch those things. I'm sort of mesmerized by them. And again, that piece there really did to me look like a pawn for a chess piece, but it probably was a pin for a door latch when you close your car door. That pin gets locked into the locking mechanism that actually holds your car door shut. But of course, having things break and having things explode and having things crack and having things create fissures is not just the purview of doing things inside the laboratory. You can also make a few $billion by having things break and explode inside games. Okay, so as you can see right here, this is Angry Birds, and if we take a look at this and I push a button here. Again, material science-wise, what makes Angry Birds so awesome is that the physics actually sort of matches. So we have wooden things here. We have what appears to be ice here, and of course we're throwing the birds on top of it. And when they slam into it, the stress and the strain causes the material to fracture or break. So they're going to flex and they're going to break. It's going to come down, and it's going to break these things. Okay, so we all know what Angry Birds is, but Angry Birds is as part of in addition to the physics engine of using the parabolic flight of the bird and the stretching of the spring, we actually have the material science of the wood and the metal and the other materials breaking and sort of ricocheting off of each other, and we want to make sure that those are real. So the people, when I say real, that it looks real. It's called a physics engine inside the game.